the International Association of Coaching. Home of the coaching masteries.
There are two places.
Well, welcome to this meeting. This meeting brings a lot of discussions within IAC and EXCO and BOG, but it's something that I would like to push anyway, because it will bring us the opportunity to open conversation about it. From my point of view, there is many questions just to open this open roundtable. The idea is just to share our ideas about it and then nurture the IAC with it. As I said before, this space is just to start to talk, and so that's it. Let's start to talk. And I think this was one of the topics that got many. We saw that this topic got many voices talking around, so I think it's good, as I see as the School Accreditation Council, just open this conversation and start to think about what means for the IAC supervision or mentoring or whatever. We've got now something that is close to it, but not enough that it's the MPDP. But I'm sure that we can find a way just to improve it within the IAC. We can find a way just to get new visions about it. And the vision from the schools, for me, it's the main voice that we have to hear about, because you are involved from the beginning. When a coach start to know himself as a coach, the moment that he sign in to start a training, as Thomas Leonard always said, from the moment that you call yourself that you will start to study coaching, you become a coach. That's the idea why we accept anyone that would like to join to the IAC could be signing as a coach. And from there, you are the ones that are taking care of all these people. That is going to be our main face, our coaches. So, Ritu, I would like to, if you have something to add, would you like something to introduce to this conversation? Just to start with.
No, I think Gonzalo, you've given a good context, and I think in case I have anything else specifically to ask later, I will ask. Welcome, Chan, to the session.
Good morning, good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Sean.
Hi. Hi, too.
Hi, Sean.
Hello. Gonzalo.
Hello, Jean. Good evening. Well, we've got something posted on Basecamp. There is many things that also posted Fernando, Pepe. There was many thoughts around it. And we can start from there, if you like, just to start to discussing first of all, what we are understanding about supervision. What is our understanding about it? What we are talking about? Just to try to hear ourselves, what are the different point of view about it in relation to the IAC? For sure.
Can I say something about it?
Yep.
If you don't mind, Fernando, it will be, in my opinion, very good if you could speak about a little bit because you have taken that process at the ICF. Now you are also considering the European and Council and mentoring coaching as a supervision. Could you speak a little bit about it, just from
Okay.
their point of view? It will be
Okay.
interesting, I believe, for everyone to know this.
Yes, and I'd like to expose it as a global effort. It's not segmented ICF EMC, and I'm just going to take 3 to 5 minutes.
But
'cause
I
was
believe
thinking about
there
this.
are point of views, right?
Yeah, yeah,
The point
yeah.
of view of ICF and the
Yeah.
point of view of
EMCC.
Clutterback.
Clutterback. Okay, we got to look back why supervision is important now. Coaching has grown. There are a lot of organizations. There are a lot of people hiring coaches. And the need for supervision came into place. Supervision comes from psychiatry, psychologists. Back in the day, a fella noticed that the psychologists in the clinics would just, they were very reluctant to separate from their patients. They got involved, there was transference, and they didn't know this was going on. So the conversations between the head psychiatrist, and that there was a fellow called Howard Searles, with the psychiatrist, kind of like a psychodynamic conversation, could uncover blind spots, places where they thought they needed something, how the patient would transfer their problems to. There was a lot of stuff going on. And so since that would unlock the psychiatrist's place and way of being, it became mandatory. Psychiatrists need supervision because they can get screwed up, going with so many clinicians. 30 years ago, it started going on with coaching in Europe. The conversation with another coach, and supervision, what it is, it's a conversation with another coach that is trained in psychodynamics and procedures to uncover blind spots, understand what's going on in 3 areas. The normative area, which is my way of being, that I feel stuck, I didn't get what I wanted in the session, this client, I don't know what's going on with this client, I don't like him, that kind of conversation. There's an ethical pillar, which is a conversation with a supervisor, coach. Hey, listen, I'm coaching this fella and his boss is asking me to tell him what's going on, and to uncover ethical issues in the sessions. And then there's a third pillar, which is the formative, some place where you can do a little bit of mentoring, a little bit of role playing, and helping the coach perform. It's empowering the coach to perform better. For me, if I were to define it, it's coaching for coaches. That's what it is. And why is it important right now? Because coaching is growing, and the organizations are giving us supervision. If you're working in a BetterUp, in Torch, in one of these platforms, you're going to get supervision because they want the coach to bring a case and uncover any blind spots or limitations so they can perform better. Now, it's been going on in Europe for many years. In the continent and in Asia, no. ICF has been doing a lot of work to bring supervision to coaching. And that's why you're seeing a lot of supervision, Damon Goldbar going around. And it seems that they want to have it as a requirement to uphold your credential. That's the thing about coaching. Now, what I see it for IAC, supervision is magnificent. It's a magnificent process. It's very beautiful. It's very inspiring. It's not mentoring. I mean, you're not telling the person how to become a better coach, showing mastery or competence. It's about a psychodynamic conversation. And there are different views. I look at it as a global thing, that if we could bring supervision to our members, they become better coaches. It's a catalyst.
Fernando, something that I heard of you just said, and I don't know if I heard it correctly, is that ICF is trying to do this mandatory. It's not mandatory right now for master coaches and for professional coaches?
No, and there's a big thing about them, and ICF is trying to bring, and there are people that are trying their best to make it understood, but it's a hard sale. That's right. It's a hard sale, because if you mention to anybody supervision, they're going to run away. And the master coaches are feeling intimidated because they say, I don't need supervision. I'm a master coach. And it has nothing to do with that. I mean, you do need certain maturity and flight hours to become a supervisor, because the dynamics that you learn go beyond coaching. It goes into psychology,
Yeah, of course.
transference.
Just one question. So if I understand correctly, because you have told me this before, in the US, especially in the US, some of the new platforms that you are working with as a master coach are requiring the master coach or the certified coach, so coaches can go there. But at the same time, if I recall correctly, they were looking that the master coaches or the certified coaches were having a very low performance. And that's the reason why this kind of platforms try to increase the way the coaches were bringing. I mean, this is a fact, right? Right? After the pandemic?
Yeah, but there is the need to increase the performance of the coaches, because through pandemic, these companies grew. I mean, BetterUp right now has positioned 3 million sessions of coaching. They are hiring thousands of coaching. Then you have Torch, and then you have Ezra, you have BetterUp, you have Bonham Coaching. So they have a place where a coach can go and speak with a supervisor. They don't call it supervision in these companies. They call it, conversations for improvement. But I understand, and it's really cool. I mean, I had a session once, and just as a short experience, where I wasn't feeling. I had a client. This is an example of supervision. I had a client, and so I was having problems. As he got promoted, and ever since he got promoted, the 2 sessions were, how are you doing? What do you want to bring to the session? Oh, everything's great. Everything's great. Everything's great, Fernando. And I was like, this guy isn't,
he's not connecting.
Coaching. And in supervision, what I discovered, and this is typical of supervision, stuff that I wasn't seeing. The lesson was, Fernando, you were performing as a coach for promotion. And you were doing your job to promote him. He was promoted. Now you are a CEO coach.
Yeah, of course.
And it's a different mindset.
It's a different mindset.
And I didn't see it. And from that place, everything was, I was saved. That's supervision.
So the mentor and whatever coaching, I always forget the name. I remember, and this is just for everyone, and I don't know, Sean, if you were involved in that conversation. I had a meeting like, I don't know, maybe 6-7 years ago with this lady that is the president and the owner, because it's not like, it doesn't function like the IAC or ICF, from the Association of Coaching. She's from England, and also from somebody from this mentor and coaching association. So just to get the fact, the ICF, it's not a requirement. This is something that David has promoted inside as a workshop, let's say, and call it supervision, whatever, to rise the level. But they are selling this so you can get to this place. It's a selling offer from many of them. No? The question I had to them in those days was, they were not calling it supervision, but if the supervision name was there, I was asking, and who supervised the supervisions? Who supervised the people that are giving the supervision? So the way I see it, I don't know if you agree or if everybody agrees. I see it like a road that the IAC has to take. I don't like the word supervision, even if it comes from psychology. I know that, but I see it more of the industrial era and the way the human resources was developing and the way that psychiatry, the terms that were available in those days. But it's a road that the IAC has to take. I believe that another road that the IAC has to take is the road of getting in those platforms that you're speaking of, getting approved in those platforms, getting the certification approved that if somebody is from the IAC, they know they have a level of and a high level of coaching. And in another way, as Gonzalo was saying, even though the masteries practitioner, in my opinion, doesn't cut it for this, maybe we could speak about something like the masteries practitioner that could take this to another level. So it's like it's like mentoring, and we need to be careful with who is mentoring the mentor. And where does the mentoring, where does that mentor, for example, I believe that in the IAC, we have, and I'm shutting up after this, but we have Bonnie, that it's been a master coach, and it's been the certified committee for so many years now. That could help bring this new path to the IAC. But the way I see it is we need to work in two levels. One is to get the IAC as one of the requirements they accept there, because the ICF has very good marketing, and to be accepted so any coach from the IAC can go there and they are confident that they will be accepted in these platforms. And the other one is just to work our path the way we've done it since the IAC started, and work the best way so that our master coaches can be relevant. There are some people calling themselves master coaches that were certified 10, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and that they don't even coach. So in a way, we could find something to increase this, but in the other path, we need to get the IAC in those platforms.
Yeah,
this is the way I see it.
Well,
Yeah.
we've got Brinesca, Juan Fernando, and Denise, who has raised a hand. Let's go for the order. Brinesca.
Bien. Buenos días a todos. Yo quiero
Good day,
compartir.
everybody. I'd like to share my experience coaching in Puerto Rico. We do this with Belinda Brenes, and this is a space where I felt that professionally it expands how I behave in the conversation of coaching. This supervision word, I don't like it because they are telling me what I'm doing wrong. Therefore, changing the name to reflection spaces or something like that would be a good topic. So I'm not feeling like I'm being monitored when having this conversation. So these are spaces where I express myself, how I felt in this conversation. For example, when I was talking to this person, I believe that in the agreement portion, I was lacking because those blind spots as coach, I don't have them because I will look bad, and I don't like people to realize that this is happening at the moment. I will feel bad. So these spaces will help me to grow as a human being, where I can express myself, see my blind spots, and I am open to understand whatever I'm not understanding. With this opportunity of existential growth, because I'm taking this to my personal life, and they open my view to be vulnerable and calling my supervisor, telling them, well, this is what I'm doing. And it is not academically, because we can be the masters of masters, but how I communicate to this coachee through this trust, how my heart opens in a coaching session in the most intimate way possible. So I recommend to change that word supervision. Thank you.
Juan Fernando.
Gracias. A ver, yo soy
Thank you.
psicólogo.
I am a psychologist. I have a doctorate in psychology. I supervise. I do supervision in psychology, just to make it clear. And this is related to, it is this accompaniment with a degree of the, well, like Pepe saying, supervising the supervisor. I can't supervise the supervisor. We're peers, helping each other to see what happened with the patient in the session. In the coaching world, what happened to me with the coachee, where the transfer happened, well, I felt his parent, I felt his brother, and this story he told me about was a story that was a personal story, so I was blocked. Well, let me tell you this, so I can move on, and the way that I'm delivering this coaching might be something simpler. It is the accompaniment with a peer who will establish the parameters where I am blocked, where are my emotions, how can I move on, what are my blind spots that I'm not seeing. And they are saying this, it is not a hierarchy point of view. It is not like I am more than you by being a supervisor here, but in the coaching, the ontologic coaching that it's the one that I'm practicing, there are courses in supervision. We're not giving them a certificate. As consultants, we do the supervision and coaching for our former students, not open to the community, but what we do is we prepare them with a template with a conversation and cases where we can call them clinical cases. What's happening, what happened here, what are the blind spots, where there was transference, where the transference didn't happen, and why is this opening up in this world that we're formalizing the topic? Maybe because it is a different methodology, not worse, not better. It's just a different methodology referring to emotions. That may happen with many things in coaching and how coaching is delivering the service or the accompaniment to the coachee. So I wouldn't call it supervision. That is something that I have thought about as well in other places, because supervision, it is misunderstood. In psychology, it is in there, in the culture. So I have to supervise myself with someone else, my friend, colleague, a friend, whomever. And we all understand what's going to happen. I don't know, if we open it up. I mean, it's the word supervision. I would call it accompaniment. I don't know, coaching accompaniment or so, because it is not a hierarchy point of view. It is a person who will help you see the blind spots and sharing their experience in the topic. Well, I'm with the flu and bronchitis, so I'm not in a good spirits as before, but I'm a little winded. So I will leave it like that, and I thank you very much. Thank you.
Denise.
Yes, hi, good evening, everyone. So I have, I guess, if I take a step back and talk about what is the intention for today's discussion, it's really what is in best service to us being able to uphold the global standards of coaching mastery that's in the best service of our clients as well as our members and coaches. So if we don't get caught up in the labels, whether it's supervision or mentorship, but really ask the question, what do our clients need and what do our coaches need? I really like what Berneska said about being able to hold a space to sometimes talk while protecting the identity of our clients about how we show up in a coaching conversation, challenges we face, questions that we may have. And I also like what Juan Fernando said. It doesn't have to be hierarchical, where we could be asked questions, clarifying questions, if you will, to sharpen and to maintain our competency in coaching. So if I were to, from a school's perspective, we do review, for example, coaching audios for the purpose of submission. And in those audios, we pay attention more to the masteries. But I think there is an opportunity or a need for more than just demonstration of the masteries. But as a coach, what are maybe some of my challenges or roadblocks or blind spots when I'm, coaching? So that could be an additional area that the schools or IAC globally can provide. Thank you.
Sorry, just to interrupt before Fernando, I saw your hand up. Is there a translation happening or do you know Spanish, Denise?
I'm not sure of this translation.
Okay. All right.
But I think if you choose Spanish in the interpretation, you might get this.
John Denise is fluent in Spanish. Rito is too.
I cannot see, like normal IAC meetings, you can choose language, but I couldn't see on my
There is
screen.
the translation.
There is translation, Shan, so you can.
What I don't see is where to raise the hand. I see everybody raises the hand.
Yeah,
but I don't see
translation.
him.
Yeah, okay. But I don't see that button appearing on my screen. So I don't know where I went wrong. So anyway. So I thought Denise was very good.
Just to go to more, and you will find there the interpretation link.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
And the hand, it's
Okay.
not where it used to be.
Yeah, there's
To
a
raise the
reaction. There's a reaction button in the bottom panel.
Uh-huh.
So you can clap, you can raise your hand, you can put a heart. Do you see that?
Oh, yeah,
reaction.
I see. I'm okay. Oh, I see. I see. Oh, I see. Thank you.
There you go.
Okay, Fernando.
Okay, just a couple of things, and I appreciate, being here and seeing you guys. I haven't seen some of you in a long time. I see Nancy there, yay, and Shan. We've had the experience with supervision for almost a year. And as a school, what is happening with the schools, with the accredited schools? We're having more students and they are very demanding. Right now, our students are very demanding. Even though they take the certification for their personal things, they really want to get up to par because they want to be involved in coaching professionally. So they're really requiring a lot. We also have to listen to a lot of audios, a lot of videos. We have to do constant mentoring. We do more mentoring than is required by any organizations. We have 12 triads that are supervised, each one 3 hours. We have group mentoring. We have the individual mentoring. We are looking at each and everything, every audio, and guiding the coach to show mastery, because we want to get that bulletproof audio that will be approved by any organization. Since we started implementing 2 supervision sessions per cohort, we've seen a dramatic increase in performance in the coaches. It's incredible. It's night and day. It's really mind-blowing. Now, this is my proposal, because supervision, as they're trying to sell it, it's not going to fly. I mean, people aren't going to sign up for supervision and pay $100 for a session. I don't need no supervision. You know, there's a movie of Humphrey Bogart, you know, The Treasure of Sierra Madre. Ever saw that movie? That there's these bandits in the mountains, and Humphrey Bogart says, if you are federales, if you're police, show us your badges. And there's a famous quote that they say, badges? We don't need no stinking badges. So that's the position right now. I don't need no supervision, but we are doing it in the schools, and it's good for the schools and the students. If I had a company of coaching, I will submit my coaches to supervision to improve performance. It's like maintenance. So what I would love to see happening, I'm talking about two processes: mentoring and coaching. In order to be approved for a master coach at the IAC, I was shot down once. I mean, I sent a video and it didn't reach the level. I had to go again, and I had to go through serious mentoring so I could get to the place where, oh, send this video. That takes a lot of time and a team of people that are requiring it. So that video was approved in different organizations. What I'm saying is that the IAC right now, what I see is statistically, is there are very few certified coaches going out. There's a lot of masteries practitioners. There's only one master coach in Latin America. It's me. And I'm always thinking, why? It's not because they don't need it right now. It's like it's not that needed. If I'm masteries practitioner, I'm out there, I can teach, I can, you know. So if we could require two changes in the mastery practitioner level, we create the masteries practitioner coach, a designation. But in order to get there, besides the MPDP, you need a video, one. And that can be scored, I don't know, at 28, 25, basic. And instead of the MPDP interview, that would be a supervision session delivered by a supervisor. That would be very cool. That would increase everything, would put us on the map. That's my proposal. These are ideas. We're here for that. Thank you.
Yes, Pepe.
Just, I would like to say that what Brinesca was speaking of, I really like the name. No, it's a space of reflection and learning. I just want to very shortly say that since I started empowerment coaching, what I do with my coaches, and I've taken a lot of them to the certified level in the IAC, not the master's practitioner, the certified level, I do a space of self-learning and also a lot of, I call it feedback, because that's what it is. We speak of a learning process as people that are at the same level, and it's been working great for the last 9 years. But I would like to, and yes, Juan Fernando, I know that what the supervision does. I'm also a counselor, a trained counselor, so I know the process. But I really think that what you were saying, Denise, needs to be focused. What are the questions that we should be asking ourselves under the IAC philosophy? That is, you don't need anything from anybody if you just demonstrate that you have the level. Now, if you need to demonstrate the level, sending your videos, or now the master's practitioner for the last 15 years. since Bob was the president. But what I would like to ask is, how could the IAC, and I like what Fernando was saying, instead of the masteries practitioner, have a session with somebody from the certified committee. It's true you don't need the master coach in order to work in many places. I have just sent one recording that I remember, and it's in that level. I haven't sent the other one. But and you don't need it even to work in the US. Maybe in those platforms you do, but not in the US and not with some quick clients. Not anywhere. But how can we give a best service to our coaches? How can we maintain the level of a master coach? How can we take more people to the master coach level? As Fernando was saying, they are happy to be with the masteries practitioner. Okay, how can you take them to the next levels? I believe those are the questions that we should be asking. Regarding the word supervision, I don't like it, but what it was said before, a space of reflection and learning, I do like it. I believe it's a self-learning process. It's a self-accompaniment process. At least that's the IAC philosophy. That was Thomas Leonard's philosophy. You know how to do it? Show it. You know how to do the masteries? Show it. And this also applies to some of the webinars that go around from some of the chapters. Now, I've heard people speak about some of the masteries, and they don't even know, I'm sorry to say this, they don't even know what they're speaking of. They are just very superficial in what they're speaking, and people are listening, and that's an official IAC channel. So I believe those are the things that we need to level and to start asking the questions that Denise was saying before. Anyway, this is. And thanks, Fernando, for all. I'm sorry. Thanks, Fernando, for all the things that you told us, because you've really done the mile, and the experience you have. It's very, very interesting. As all these miles that you have done, it's very interesting to listen and to take the experience out of there.
Okay, I think Brineska is sharing his screen.
Sí, ay, perdón.
Oh,
No,
really?
¿Perdona?
Oh, really? Am I?
Yes, we are seeing
Okay.
your screen, so stop sharing.
No sé por qué. ¿Qué hice?
Estás compartiendo la pantalla.
No tengo por qué
No.
stop share. Oh my God.
I
I'm sorry.
yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, Jean, you.
Yeah, I think
I
my hand.
had something to say. I want to say something before.
I'd like to say something before. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay. I've been I'm still with EMCC. And also we're looking at all this. Even in Malaysia, we have got this Association of Coaching Supervision. We send all this, and I personally have sent coaches from my school for coaching supervisors to do their practicum. And the feedback received was there was not much of a difference between mentoring and supervision. This is from their point of view. And number two, of course, how it's differentiated. Of course, I know supervision is in the therapeutic world, and they say mentoring is only looking at skills. But I have mentors, coaching mentors, who only don't look at my skills, but they also look at the deeper side. like what Fernando was saying, the 3 pillars and all that. They still also, they look at that. So a few years back, one of the things that I was suggesting for the IAC is all those who are willing to mentor, who thinks, you can be a great coach and a lousy mentor, maybe. And I don't know about supervision. Well, to create this pool of mentors within the IAC. And I said that if any IAC member wants to reach out to the mentor and to seek advice and to engage them as mentors, of course it's payable, then that is their decision, that is their choice. And I'm sure that a lot of this side, I'm doing a lot of mentoring. And I know for a fact, Denise used to help a lot in China as well, mentoring them. And of course, in Singapore and this part. Yeah. So we have been mentoring our students and, even post-program. I still have got coaches who come back after 3-4 years and saying that, oh, what are the problem I face with my coachee? And what do you think? So all this is there, but the minute we want to make it compulsory, that's where the problem is. Because this part, I've asked around. In fact, yesterday I had a conversation with ICF coach from Singapore, and we were talking about this. And sometimes I don't know about that part of the world. This part of the world, some of the feedback I received, not from one person, a few people, is that our association constantly trying to rip off coaches, trying to take the money out of them when they make compulsory stuff. And then when they make it compulsory, I know for a fact also people start cheating. Just like, oh, we need, again, there's no empirical evidence showing the more number of hours of coaching you got, the better coach you are. EMCC don't have, of course, IAC don't have. In my own research in coaching, also I did not find that. And what happens is that, and I get people telling me, oh, they have scripts and they cheat on just getting the hours. So all this for me is, what do you really want? And thanks for sharing, Fernando, and and Denise. If it's what works best for the client and for our coaches. And if coaches want to improve themselves, they will look for mentors. I have got mentors. I got about 3 mentors. So whenever, I feel that, I need to know something, and of course with peers as well. I speak quite a bit with Pepe. Those days I used to talk to Fernando. And then we exchange, and and this kind of things is where we share. We know that we won't be judged, right? So we share and then we improve. So my suggestion is, IAC, like what I suggested years ago, have the pool of mentors, put it out there in the website. This is IAC mentor. Whoever wants to reach out, they can deal directly with the mentors. IAC don't have to be involved. They select the mentors, if you want to call it supervision, but I'm not really really favorable with the term supervision, but mentors. So do not force it onto them. The schools have got the responsibility, and I think Gonzalo and the team, when you all started, it was very clearly communicated to the schools, their responsibilities and all that. And you're right, Fernando. We have got so many IAC MPs. Nobody going up, and this, for me, I know I've trained hundreds. One of the reasons is they don't want to be a career coach. They say they're happy being a coach and to equip themselves with coaching masteries as a leader. And that's it. They're not selling coaching services. And very few wants to go through that journey to become career coaches who want to earn money from coaching. So that's from this part of the world, from my school. Anyway, when I asked them why are not people going, and and our certification is a very stringent process. I've submitted a few, and I've never got through the master stage yet. Still minus few points, but and I think it's for me. I'm taking it as a learning journey as well. When the comments come from the certification body, great, fantastic. I'm learning. So That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean Brini. And Suno, if you keep the hands up, it will put you on the list.
Sí, cuando escucho la conversación de ustedes,
When
lo que
listening to your
pienso es
conversation, I think
cuando yo hago la mentoría,
when I'm mentoring,
yo me doy cuenta de que la
I realize
persona, por
that
ejemplo,
the
ay,
person,
me
for
estoy
example,
escuchando yo misma y como que no
I
me
listen to
distraigo.
myself.
Como que déjame cambiar el idioma, a lo mejor es eso.
I was listening to English, I'm sorry. Now I can listen to myself. When I'm mentoring, I realize that, for example, if this is the second, third session of coaching, there's no experience of a coachee, not having the pertinence, the importance to the coaching session. So when I go through a session to that coachee, through this coachee experience, is a pertinence if it is something that they are going to do. But what I can suggest when having so many NDP, what if having before that MVP or after going through a coaching experience with a, let's say, quote unquote, mentee. I don't know if I want to be a coach. With that conversation, I believe it is appropriate to get to the other levels because I'm interested in, because I understand it, because I am with the accompaniment. If before that we're going to have the coaching, why are you here? Why do you want this? Because I need it, because I want it, but I am not prepared for that. Or you have the MVP. What's the next level? Where are you located? So to generate that trust, because when these practitioners, they don't want to reach the next level because they are not sure of what they're doing. They're going to get the test. What's happening? What's needed? What is it that you're lacking? What is it that you need? What's the next step? So with that mentoring and knowing that we have that accompaniment, I will dare to reach the next level. I mean, I'm just one session away to be just like Fernando, and I thank you, Fernando, for that. I passed one, I'm just missing the last one, so I'll be there. Thank you so much, Fernando, for your support, and thank you all.
Thank you, Rineska. Now continue Nancy and then Sunyo, and after this, Fernando. Nancy.
Good morning or good evening. I'm speaking on behalf of Shanghai in China, and now I'm in Germany. I got my certified coach because of the last term of Tri-Aid program. Before that one, I was MP, and then because joined the Tri-Aid, and therefore I participate and hand in the record and get my certified coach. Thanks, Fernando, was my team member. So during my this applying journey, what I experienced after I hand in my Word file about MBTP review, and I received this one-on-one this review session. During the review session, what I experienced is most like supervision session, because this coach is not reviewing my coaching record. It's not, but this coach, the person who review with me, and he asked about which area I want to improve, and then working together with me on my personal level, the being level, what is blocked me to go forward, which is exactly supervision which is working on. And I still benefit from that session. So that MPDP review for me was really valuable. And it also helped me because of the Tri-Aid, the session, which I together with Fernando and another coach. So this has also helped me to get this qualified recording and to hand in to get my certified coach. So what I want to share is actually from a coach point of view or from client point of view, I don't know how many of them really care about this word or mentor, coach mentoring, or coach supervision. From my point of view, I don't care about those definitions about the word. I only care about who can really help me to expand my level, about how can I be a better coach, or how can I way. So that is what I really care. And why I like IAC much, before I'm also get ICF certified, because IAC, they offer a very free style. I mean, they only care about you are doing pure coaching or not. And based on this coach, the coaching quality itself, and then give this certification. It's not like that you need to pay this one to join this examination to pass this 1, 2, 3 item, and then you can have this certified. Not so many steps. So therefore, it's more pure. And then, which I believe that IAC coaches all can deliver a high level of the coaching session. That's the quality which I believe in IAC. So therefore, today is my first time to participate this roundtable. So I'm not so clear about what is today's roundtable's purpose. Is what's the real purpose for today's roundtable? If we have a clear target for today's roundtable to want to know about better, we want to find out the better word for supervision, or we want to add some session for this school, or we want to add some item for this passing the level. So anybody can help to clarify, will make this dialogue easier for me. So that's all. Thank you. Back to MC.
Thank you, Nancy. Sonia,
hello. Do you hear me well? I'm not in my office, so I hope you can hear me because I'm using earphones. First, thank you for having me here. It's my first time also as Nancy, and I'm not exactly sure what's the main purpose. I know I'm a member of the board, and I'm a examiner since many years. I've been a member of AIC since 2003. And I personally was involved in the second step of changing the proficiencies to the masteries. So I'm very connected to the AIC. It's in my heart since the beginning. And as a member of the board, I would like to move forward AIC always to a better place. And since I've been also a director of a program, supervision, mentoring, making coaches better coaches is something that really passions me, and I think this is one of the forums for that. So, but maybe I'm wrong. Like Nancy, I'm not so sure. And I, from my personal perspective, I agree with Nancy and Denise. The word is less important today. Also, the word coach or coaching has so many definitions, and we can spend seminars trying to define what exactly is the coaching we do, and we are going to find somebody else who says it's not like that. So we also can decide if we want to call whatever we come up with supervision or mentoring or both or some new word. I think the concept that I would like to see to make the standard better is, I would call it right now supervision, but again, I'm not attached to the word in a specific way. It's different levels. First is to improve skills. It's like in a company, you are an employee, you have your supervisor. When you don't know exactly what to do, or you are not sure, the supervisor who have more experience and maybe more responsibility, somebody can guide you, help you. So when people are studying coaching, a supervisor, it's somebody that can help them understand better, improve, and so on. I think that's a must in any kind of developing skills setting. So that's one level. And since there are different levels also, we can call the different things at each level. The second level is once I already know how to do it, we keep learning. And we are developing some habits that maybe they need to be changed because they are going in a bad way. And so that's the second kind of supervision. Again, is someone with more experience, with more knowledge, that can also reflect with me and guide me, and so I can improve my level. Yes, so it's not teaching me or helping me do the basic thing to improve the level. And the third kind of supervision, it's kind of more related to what Juan Fernando said, more kind of in a clinical way, which is well, the second one I meant. Sorry, I go back. I will call it when I have professional dilemmas, like if it's right to do this, maybe I should give advice to the person, is that right or not? And the third level, it's for when I have personal dilemmas, which also occur because we are human beings and we encounter things. And so it's not just to check with someone or to learn from someone about if this is right or wrong to do. It's more about how I'm dealing with it or what it's doing for me. Like in a case that maybe I've been touched by the client in something that I cannot deal with it. So a supervisor will say to me, you are involved in that, please give this client to somebody else. So that will be the third level. And again, they can be called mentoring, can be supervisor. I think so. They can create a committee who decide what's the correct name, but I'm talking about the essence. I'll see them in those three levels. And I hope that's aligned with what we are looking for in this forum. So thank you for that. And thank you for having me again.
Thank you, Sunyo. Fernando.
Thank you. And I just want to add on what Sean shared, along with, aligned with what everyone shares. And it's a problem, and it's a problem I face as a school. And I'm an owner of a school, so I have to bring in students. And our certification has like 3 phases, just to promote motivation. In 4 months, you're phase 1 and you graduate, and then you have another phase that's all about mentoring and developing mastery and competency, 3-month program. And then you have the master level. So it all takes about a year. And it's easy. You don't have to require in 1 year. You can do it here and there. So we have to nurture and maintain our students so they can continue. The problem is this. IAC has masteries practitioners, which are leaders. They're leaders. And they're great people. They're volunteers. They're magnificent. I know a lot of them. When they come out as a certification body, and we will take you to this triad so you can get your certification, and they say, and you will be certified, a student that finished phase 1 in high school will say, well, why am I going to do the master level? I can do it with IAC. And what they don't understand is that to maintain a school, we have to have mentors that have been trained. We have 12 staff, and they all have to be paid. The individual mentorships are paid. They're charging $100 a pop, plus the school, plus the marketing, plus the support, and everything that implies having a business and paying taxes. So the sometimes I feel, and this is that IAC is doing the job of the schools. And why do you have a school? Why do we have the licenses? That we pay every year to IAC the dues to be accredited. And I think that if we could have made just one change, like Benesca says, one video, one audio, they will need to have mentoring. You can't get that level of mentoring going to the triad session. I mean, maybe you can, but in order to get, because I know the rigorosity of the checking of the audios, it's very severe. And if you do not have mentoring, you're going to have a hard time. So that's, if we could do that to the schools and provide supervision instead of the MPDP, we will give jobs to supervisors. And so now we can justify a supervision certification because we can have a certification for mentoring and supervision, which is something that we are designing at this point to certify, to graduate supervisors and mentors with a track record, with audios, with all what is required to give them the blessing to provide that space for the people that apply. And then everybody has a place to make business. And the schools grow because now the students say, Fernando, I want phase 2 because I need to do that. Because, our promise is that, yeah, you're going to have your bulletproof session. Thank you.
Thank you, Fernando. Well, I will take the word at this time we are around the time of the meeting. What was the purpose for this meeting is just to open the conversation. All problems, as Thomas Leonard said, all problems exist in the absence of a good conversation, and I found this conversation a very good conversation. We've got also two things within IAC, that is the triads, and by the other side, the MPDP, that can be improved. We are in sort way doing that supervision. That was the reason why it was inserted in the IAC structure, the triads and the MPDP. I, as a MPDP reviewer, I many times found myself doing a kind of supervision, but with a frame of the coaching masteries, that I found it better because it focused on what IAC is the core of the IAC promoting, that is the coaching masteries. Different is made supervision around oneself, what are the problems that we got or bring to the sessions. But if you look this supervision within the frame of the 9 coaching masteries and find, because we can frame it whatever we can look at. So if we can frame it, this conversation within the coaching masteries, you will find a way to frame it within. We will keep doing it within the IAC system. We will keep doing it within the IAC structure. But what I found is we have here the opportunity just to improve it. We have the opportunity just to name it properly. This is one of the things that we have been discussing. And we have the opportunity just to make through the schools. That is something that will bring you more support to your business, will bring more agility to the IAC. And this is why we started this conversation. There is many topics that pop up. It will be resumed later to keep on with the discussion, but now point by point, just to have an agreement without all the schools and to bring it to the board just for discussion with a solid basis of the voice of all the schools present now. And we now got a better view from what we started this conversation. We have shared our point of view. We have improved many points that have popped up from the conversations. So what we will be doing from now is just to summarize this conversation and pinpoint those main points on the conversation. I found really interesting what Fernanda says about to include this within the schools training, if the schools like to do it. And the part that the IAC have to do is how to frame it, how to structure, how to improve what we already got, that is the triads and the MPDP. Because I think from this point, the supervision between pairs perfectly fit on triads. Now we have to see how we have to make these triads just to be a supervision between pairs. So maybe we have to start to do triads between master coaches, triad between certified coaches, triads between MPDP, and make the levels from these triads. So this will be a supervision by pairs. By the other side, on the MPDP, I found that we've got a clear stance of supervision that can be framed in the right way, with the right content, with the right objective. So now the work that we have to see and work around is how to improve, how to make this step forward, because as Fernando brings onto the conversation, his experience about is this boost the coaching sessions of the students, and this boost the students to become certified coaches. And this is what we are now here. That's why the IACs is just to bring certification to our coaches. And if there is something that will help our coaches to improve their success on the records and make easy the path, I think we are on the right track. So saying this, is there, I open this for whatever you have to say or think about it. Brini.
Se me ocurre que como hay muchos mastery
I believe that
practitioners,
since there are
quizás
many
a lo mejor
master's
hacer un
practitioners,
programa
maybe
que vaya
creating a program directed to capturing these people there in limbo, so we can get the certificates to get more los NDPs. I don't know. Let's give them a challenge for next year for a certificate coach. I don't know, to feel supported, so we can do this.
Something like this was doing it by the triad circles that we made the last year, and we will do it this year again. But we are just inviting all the coaches to do it in a way just to promote the triads. We would like this to be done within a frame with the schools. We would like to help the schools just to cut all these master's practitioners and bring through the schools, because in other ways, we can make triads, and it will depend how the triad is made, the outcome that this triad would have. But if those triads can be done through the schools, that they know the students, they know the outcome of the students, and they are following the students, surely they will have better outcomes than the ones that we are doing through the IAC convoke, inviting all the coaches around the world. So that's what from that's why from the School Accredited Council, we are looking through to the schools. That's why we passed the MPDP review into the schools, allow it, just to start this training, the schools to doing the MPDP, just to start the training to the schools to do the triads, and just to make a common practice within the schools. That's why we are, and when we think about supervision, the first that I pop up in my mind is how we can make it within the frame that we already got, and how can we improve it, that the schools can take it and work it from there.
Una pregunta, ¿sabes cuántas personas a partir de
Do
las
you know how
triadas
many people through this triads, how many people were certified? Do we know?
The number, we see, I don't know the exact number, but the quantity of records presented after the triads just plummeted, just raise quickly. And after this period, that's the reason why we are also doing one semester and then measure the other semester. One semester to the other, there is a big difference on the quantity of records that reach. The idea is that the schools can bring all these records to the IAC. Just find a way, the frame to the schools and what fits better on all the schools, just to improve the schools, improve the names of the school. It will be different for a school, say that we prepare our students to become certified coaches. We will ease your path to become a certified coach. And I know, as Sean said, that most of our clients, they do not want to go to the next step. They don't want to be a certified coach. They just use it for their own business and their own practice daily, but they don't go to coach to another ones. But for those that likes to be on the top of coaching, this is something that we have to frame, we have to publish, we have to promote the schools, that you can learn the 9 coaching masteries within a school, but if you continue with this school, it will ease the path to the certification. And this is the core of this conversation. How can we ease the path to the conversation? Fernando Celis got a clear example that applying supervision, it's a really good tool to achieve better the certification.
Just one thing, whatever we do, let's not forget the philosophy of the IAC, that it's what attracted Nancy to the IAC. And it's what attracted many of us in the early days, Suño, to the IAC. And the reason why, for example, I stayed in the IAC for all these years and not ICF or whatever. And it's the self-learning, your learning path, what we put as an association in the certification process, that it's a lifelong learning process. And whatever we do, it can't be mandatory to say you need to hire this person or this other to get to the next level. If you want to do it, okay. But if you have the capacity to show it, go ahead. And I also want to retake something that Fernando said, because I believe it's if there are being triads, and I've been a promoter of triads also in the past, but if they are being triads, the schools need to be there, because if not, what's the sense of a school? As Fernando said, in that case, being said that, you don't need the school to go to the IAC process. So it's a choice, it's a self-made choice. If somebody sees that they want to go through the school, it's okay. As long as the IAC certification is independent, and that the process is independent, and let's take whatever conversation we have as a lifelong learning process. Because this is what, at least to me, the values, and in those days, as Suño said, the masteries were not even around, but there were the proficiencies. But the self-learning, the self-studying, to be able to take it to the next level, and to have the schools, as IAC needs to empower the schools, not so that the schools can certify, but that they can train. And if the IAC does the triads, what's the reason for a school? So that's another conversation.
Thank you, Pepe. Fernando.
Just Fernando, can I say?
You are mute.
Fernando, you are muted.
I'd like to add on that, why do we join an association? Why do we join a chamber of commerce? Why do we join the establishments that promote the vision of our lives? Because they help our businesses grow. They help us grow. If we feel that the IAC as an association is helping me grow because I'm getting more exposure and more students to train to become better coaches, you will have much more members because the members will be well taken care of and they will still remain in the school. We have lost students because they prefer to do the training in the IAC. And still, I do not see another certified coach. The ones that have become is because we're doing it in the school, or they have that level, or they have chosen the path of another organization that has approved that. But the thing is that we, as schools, we put our heart and soul into the training. Our margins are very small because that a certification of coaching here in the United States, $7,000, $10,000. That's the price points. Our students in the Hispanic community, which I serve, have to have some solidarity when it comes to the way they have to invest. We do it a very, very well thought investment, and we provide different ways, and we provide lifelong continuous education. We want them to grow. So what Pep is saying is going to promote a lot. The members come from the schools. Remember that. Because we are the ones who do the marketing. We have to invest a huge amount of our budget in digital marketing to get our cohorts full. It doesn't come easy. There are a lot of schools. We're competing with a lot of organizations. And still, we continue and we still grow. So that's, and I remain with the IAC because I came in the same as Pepe. In fact, it was with Pepe that I came in here because I saw the potential. IAC is a second in line. Remember that IAC has a history. We have been grandfathered into the history of coaching. We have the Thomas Leonard connection. I mean, we should be up there first in the list when you apply to Better Up and they say, what credential do you hold? I could press the button that says IAC Master Coach. Boom. And then they'll give me an interview. But we're not there. And I do have faith in the IAC.
Thank you, Fernando. We do also have faith on the IAC. That's the reason why we are here. And the way that the IAC is keep their masteries. If you see on the history, these masteries just got around 20 years and do not have any needs to be reviewed as other coaching associations made. So the strong of the coaching masteries, the strength of the coaching masteries are proved during the times, and the level of our coaches are proved during the time. So now it's something that has been missing during those times is the relationship with the schools and how the schools will start to coordinate and how the IAC will start to coordinate with the schools. That's the reason for this School Accreditation Council. How can we manage this relationship within with the schools and the IAC, and the IAC structure can boost the schools to improve the overall performance, because what we are looking for at the end is to see more certified coaches, to see those coaches within the platform. We are working just to be on the platforms. Many platforms are resistant to include us because they are made basically by other associations. But now we are working just to be inserted in all those platforms.
That's important.
So we thought that it would be easier, but we found many resistance on this.
Yeah, because there are a lot of ICF at the control, so I know that.
So it's step by step, and there is one person within the IAC that is focused on this, just to start open conversations, and we need more certified coaches. This will bring the strong presentation card for the IAC. By the other side, one of the little things that is history. One of the reasons why started supervision in other associations, and they found the need of it. It was because when the coaches start to be rated on their platforms, they found for the same certification, they got a very wide gap between the lowest qualification and the higher qualifications. So they need just to make this supervision, just to try to shorten this gap and try to assure a reliable level of coaching sessions. That's what was one of the reasons. That is not needed for the IAC system, because when one coach pass the certification level, we can assure that it's their coaching is really on a mastery level.
Yeah,
that was one of the treasure that we got. We can assure, I can assure that every one of the certified coaches of the IAC, they are on mastery level of coaching. So this is one of the strong thing that we have to sell, and this is something we can work on just to improve also the perception of quality of our schools. Our schools are working with the higher standards, and our certification is granting the mastery level. So many thanks. We are now in 1.5 hours. We are just rounding the end. Many thanks for your valuable time. We will commit just to download this conversation.
Gonzalo Suño wanted to say something.
Yes, Suño.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you had raised the hand.
No, I wanted, but it's okay. It's okay. Thank you.
Okay. We will transcribe, and we will start just to split this conversation in the topics, just to discuss and get one outcome for each one of this topic. As for example, how we will call it, on how we'll implement it, how we can improve the MPDP, how can improve the triads. And then we can start to work along with the IAC and how to improve how the IAC will apply what Pepe also brings to the conversation, the lifelong learning. If the IAC also do not learn from their own experience, it's something like we have we cannot keep our word in a good way. So I think learning from you, it's the best way, because you are the ones that it's playing hard on the IAC coaching masteries. So I will treasure this conversation as a part of the IAC lifelong learning. So
Very good, Gonzalo.
many thanks for your participation, and we are ready to close.
Thank you. Good night. Good morning.
Thank you.
The International
Bye.
Association of Coaching. Home of the coaching masteries.